Trip sure appreciate all the new likes and subscribers, and I want to give a shout out to Bernard Roman. Today's video is because Bernard had a suggestion. He was interested to know what I had done to the 1199R, my Panigale 1199R. He wanted to see exactly what kind of prep and what kind of changes and modifications I had done to it before and to start tracking it and racing it. So great suggestion, Roman. Thank you so much, buddy. We're going to go ahead and do that today. It's a process, right? You know, I had some ideas what I was going to do initially, but that evolves over time as you get, you know, more familiar with the bike and as you start to learn the craft. And last season was my first full season of racing. This was going to be my second full season, hopefully. But here we are, all COVID, right? So yeah, so it's been a real process, and you change things up. You find what works, what doesn't on the bike, and so gets expensive. So what we'll do is keep a running tally and take a look what it just takes for a small time single privateer, no funding, to trick out his Panigale the way he likes it, which, well, let's face it, I'd like to do a lot more, but what I can afford. So thanks again, Roman. Guys, I hope you enjoy this, and thanks again for tuning in. Okay, so let's get right into it. So what's going to be probably leaping off the page right off the bat is that there are absolutely no lights left on the bike. I had my mechanic pull out all headlights, signals, etc. So to do that, we just went ahead and put a wire bundle, tied off the wire bundles, plugged all the main plugs so that I wouldn't have any idiot lights, and changed up the fairing. So the fairing that I went with after polling a lot of different people at the track and who had been doing racing, I was looking for durability as well as good fitment. And the consensus seemed to be that if you could swing it, that Shark Skins with a Z is the way to go. And so that's what I ended up with. Shark Skins is now owned by a company, or they've gotten together with another company. I can't remember how it exactly goes, and so forgive me, i1moto, but i1moto.com. That's i1moto.com. I think their prices now for this particular setup is down to $1,100. When I first got mine several years ago, they were $1,500. At that time, the only one that had the Super Sport tail with this little bifurcation was the 1199R. Now, I believe the 959s have it, and so some other people got that flavor going. It's my favorite tail, so I really like that because nobody else did that tail. So they stayed true to the original. They used CAD design to make sure it was exactly like the 1199R that year. Mine's a 2015 model. So right off the bat, there was $1,500. At the time, there was a guy named Andrew Swenson who used to do a lot of Moto America stuff. Andrew Swenson Designs, I believe they are now defunct. But he did the paint scheme in conjunction with Ducati Detroit, who helped me design it. Obviously, it's a World Superbike paint scheme with the Ducati Fluoro Red. We did do some things differently with the hatch work at the end of each end of the number plate, as well as this is sort of a conglomeration of various front ends over the years. I really like that. And then we kind of mirrored Chaz Davies' 2017 design on the tail. So that was $2,200. So right away, $1,500 on the body work, and then another $2,200 for paint. I can tell you I'll never do that again, because if you really are serious about racing and trying to find that extra speed, that extra tenth, you typically do crash because you're just pushing the limits. And I've had to have this touched up and repainted at least once. And probably twice here. Well, actually, I had to have a repair done on the fiberglass. So next set, I'll probably go with Moto Proxy Cambi, which is a lot cheaper. But anyway, moving along. The other obvious features from the same company is i1moto. They sell what's called tight tails and moto holders. Tight tails is the subframe portion of the bike. You'd be surprised. I wish I actually had it handy. I've got it somewhere in the garage, but the subframe on this is pretty heavy. And this is a one-seat pillion bike. The 1199R did not come in a two-passenger configuration. So I was rather surprised at how bulky the subframe was. I probably saved about 2 pounds by going with the tight tails. This, if I were to remove the seat and the tail section, it's only about 2 inches in diameter, just tubular aluminum. And then it has a little triangular section that runs through the top here with a small, tiny little upward pillion. So major weight savings there. Also the moto holder, which is the front stay. It's the front upper stay. That particular stay holds a TFT screen, your IMU GPS, and the windscreen, obviously. So those were, I have to look at my sheet here real quickly, but I believe they were $485 and $160. So that was $485 for the subframe, $160 for the front. So right away, you're moving up in price, right? And so as you can see, I got rid of all the little extras in between. All the little fairings and portions are gone. So this is all cleaned out. Everything that had to do with weight, just gone. So we did keep some of the carbon fiber, because the carbon fiber is all stock on the 1199R. Can't get rid of that. Very sexy, very pretty. Same thing with the heat shield, and both fenders are carbon fiber, so that's all stock. So that's not a modification. Moving right along, Ducati Performance seat. Ooh, gotta look that up. The racing seat is $283. You'll notice it's a little thicker here towards the front. It's got a different feel to it. The most important thing is it's non-slip. When you go into the heavy braking zone, you on the stock seat, you would find yourself crashing your nuts into the tank, and that's just a no bueno. So $283 for that, definitely worth all the money. It seems like it puts you a little higher, but for whatever reason, you're just able to, with this cutout here, you're also able to move about the bike more handily when you are shifting your body weight and changing your body position. So right there, that's the next change. What else? Right, so moving on down the bike here, you can obviously see the clutch cover from Woodcraft. That was $220. And then the Light Tech further guard there, I don't know if you can see the depth of it, but that's saved my bacon a couple times. That also was $200. So together there, you got another $400 plus. While we're right here in the vicinity, the rear sets were fine on the stock. They did fine. Nothing special about them, but they were low and they weren't adjustable. So as I've gotten a little faster and moved up through the ranks, I noticed that I kept grinding off the bottom of the pegs, as well as I caught the curbing at Carolina Motorsports Park and kind of jiggered. Actually, that was a shift lever on the other side, but I just kept having trouble with clearance. So I went with big shout out to Jerome Balakowski, and if I'm saying it wrong, dude, I apologize. I've never heard your name out loud, so Balakowski. But Jerome's got a company called Pit Lane Moto, so check them out, pitlanemoto.com. Great dude over there, really hustling, and they'll set you up. He's got me set up here with some TWMs out of Italy. I'll double check the price, but I believe I was in the $600 range for the TWMs. Everybody says that Woodcraft is, well, not everybody, but a lot of the people I know says that Woodcraft's the way to go. But I really wanted to give these a shot, and so I haven't got a chance to yet because we're all COVIDed up, but I'll let you know. Those were awesome. I love the way they look. Thanks, Jerome. Moving on over here to this part on the front controls. You'll see here I got a Rizoma brake guard. Now, originally I went with Light Tech. Light Tech was $200, and it was pretty sexy. Carbon fiber, awesome, right? Lightweight. It was like holding a pencil in your hand. Damn thing broke the very first time I ran into something. I can't remember if I think it was during a low side, but carbon fiber is pretty and cool, but it won't withstand any kind of pressure. So one of the things I keep learning as I race, and especially with my buddies who are big on the Woodcraft, is that engineering and durability are everything. Because if you want to keep trying to find more speed, you're going to take risks and you're going to end up crashing occasionally. And you know, this is aluminum. So if you bend this, you can just bend it right back into place. Yeah, can it snap? Absolutely, sure can. But anyway, I digress. So this was about $100, $30 for the adapter. I've been very happy with it so far. Next on the list are the levers, brake and clutch. I originally used the stock ones until I, of course, broke them on a low side. And then as you get into track days or racing, or maybe you already know what I'm talking about, but you always want to have several spare sets. There's always a possibility to break them. The other thing too is another shout out here, Bellissimo Moto out in Vegas to Randy Nadesky. I want to give him a big shout. Appreciate those guys. I always love their product, and they always give good advice. They had me go on my last set with ASV. I enjoyed the SV. They were sharp. I liked the way they felt in my hands, but I got to be honest, they said they were unbreakable. They weren't foldable, and they said they were unbreakable. Well, you know, nothing's impregnable, and unfortunately they broke on a pretty slow low side. But that's okay, you know, that's no cut against them. It's just racing. So This time around, I went with CRGs. So CRGs, these particular ones are foldable, as you can see, and they're highly adjustable, which I love. Really, really excited about giving these a shot. But again, these are new for this season, and the season is massively on hold. Moving right along, those were, if I didn't say, I think they're like the $110 range, but that looks like a serious great lever with a lot of features for the money. Because I got to tell you, the other ones had less features and were just as much. This is one of the major changes on the bike. So on the triple tree steering tube and then the lower steering head, what you found on the Ducati stock was that it was cast aluminum or magnesium. I cannot remember now at this time, but very light and mostly strong. And the cast, of course, being one part, had this little piece that came out on the bottom. And I can't really show you down here on the lower steering head triple, but it was the stop. So anytime, you went all the way with the bars, you hit that stop down on the bottom triple tree. Well, unfortunately, it's cast. So if you smacked it really hard, it like I did in the low side, it just snapped it right off. So you got to replace the whole damn thing. So that was like $800 to $900 every time you're replacing the whole thing. So I had 2 low sides and I had to replace it twice. And I said, that's enough of that. Screw that. $900 plus labor. I was always getting out the door around $1,100. I couldn't keep doing that. So I went with what my buddy recommended, who's built out a few bikes for AMA Moto America guys on the Panigale. He suggested Robbie Moto Engineering out of Italy. So as you can see, it's definitely a rigid setup, and it's much more light on the top at least, and it's just damn sexy. Well, anyway, moving along. The great thing about it down on the bottom triple is that instead of being cast, they were smart enough to drill a screw through it. So if you have a tank slapper or wipe out and wreck, it just breaks the screw off and then you replace the screw. You don't have to keep replacing your triple tree. Absolutely brilliant. Big shout out to Chad Wells at Commonwealth Moto for making that suggestion. So that was an $1,100 setup to go a little bit higher with a little bit better strength, a little bit more rigidity, and full-on racing. Thank you so much, Chad. Next on the list was the Ducati Performance tank filler cap. And let me set down my paper here. If you're not familiar with these, much easier to operate. Just push down, lift, and there you go. And when you're at the track and you're constantly coming in from sessions and you need to fuel up, that is such an easy thing, and you love it. So that was $237 for this setup. $237. So thank you, Ducati Performance. Remaining on down this side of the bike, real quickly, these little axle sliders will save all of this pretty carbon fiber, all those pretty Oleans and Brembo, because I've been down twice and I've ground these down. So those are $60 a pop for a set. I highly recommend those if you don't have them. They will protect your bike. So that's a great addition. Let's see, what else? What have I not gone over? Oh, let's go to the other side of the bike. Oh yeah, the Ducati double bubble. This is a $160 screen. So again, I've gone through one of these as well. So $160 for that. And then down here, the electric cover, the housing cover right there by Light Tech, another $225. So that stuff just starts to add up. All the carbon fiber on the duck comes standard on the Panigale 1199R. So nothing else there. What have I not yet covered? I think I've covered pretty much everything except for wheels. Now I haven't done any upgrades to the wheels per se, but if you're not a track person or never raced, these are Pirelli SC1s. They'll set you back $430. These have only had one afternoon set of sessions on them. The other thing too, I absolutely swear by to put inside those Brembos is Vesrah, Vesrah. If you've never heard of Vesrah, they are phenomenal. I love those brake pads. Very, very linear, consistent feel. You don't have mushiness. They don't fade.
And damn, is the bite amazing. They just don't change. Consistency is the word there. And I've been able to brake deeper and harder than I ever thought with this brake. And I'm so thankful to Rusty over at N2 who turned me on to them. Let me see if there's anything else I missed here. Oh, easy grips. I don't know if you can see these. Let's see, adjust it. Damn birds in the background going crazy. Hey, piss off. All right, so these Blue Jays were going nuts back there, driving me crazy. All right, so these are Easy Grips, E-A-Z-I. And I want to thank the guys. Another shout out to Moto D. Moto D, thanks guys. I appreciate your products that I wear on my body, that I use as an undersuit, and your socks for racing. They're amazing. But this is another product they turned me on to, E-A-Z-I, Easy Grip. They are a little more rounded than Stomp Grips. Stomp Grips are a little bit more pointy, and they just tear the hell out of your rubbers on the inside of your thigh. When you go into heavy braking zone and you're grabbing the tank, that's fine. You expect the wear and tear on your leathers, but Stomp Grips just seem to rip them up quite a bit. These have great grip. They're very sticky, and you're still going to get some tearing and whatnot, just minimal on your leathers with these, but nothing like Stomp Grip. So these are pretty reasonable too. I think they were $40 a set. They actually made them so that they go down in here as well, but with the race fairing has a little bit more curvature than the normal fairing does, so it wasn't able to adhere it, but that's fine. I typically grab more on the tank with my thighs anyway. Not that there's a whole lot to grab on this bike, because it's just such a thin profile. It doesn't have that big beefy tank away a lot of the thousands and liter bikes do. So I think I've covered it all, guys. All right, so I think you saw the grand total was $81.75. That's $8,175, and it doesn't include all the times I replaced levers, once or twice, brake and clutch, and so forth. So yeah, it can get very pricey. So obviously, you can do it much more inexpensively by not doing paint. For instance, like I did a $2,000 paint job, so I just lopped that off. But everybody that's out there trying to enjoy the track or even trying to race as a profession, God bless you, man. I can see how it runs up pretty quickly. And this is my bike's a 2015 Panigale 1199R, so throw on the base price of that, In any case, so I hope you enjoyed the little tour. I'm still learning and trying to, find out what works best for me on the bike. It's going to be an exciting season once it gets started, so I can see how my new gear, my new setup works. And Bernard Roman, thank you, buddy, for a great suggestion. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. And I know we're all COVID-19, we're all locked down right now. And I hope everybody is healthy. And I know many of us are affected financially. And it's my sincerest wish that you get, you're all safe and you're all taken care of. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking and subscribing, guys. And please comment and send your feedback. And look forward to seeing you next time on the Couch Trip. Thanks, guys.